Are you planning to become a professional teacher? Who can be called a professional teacher? Did you know that teaching is not considered as a profession before? Who declared teachers as professionals and teaching as profession? Are you guys ready? Let's find out. Presidential Decree 10006, providing for the professionalization of teachers, regulating their practice in the Philippines and for other purposes, was given by the late President Ferdinand E. Marcos. On January 1977, Presidential Decree 10006, entitled Providing for the Professionalization of Teachers, Regulating Their Practices in the Philippines, otherwise known as the Decree Professionalizing Teaching, was declared. PD 10006 declared a policy that teacher education be of highest quality and strongly oriented to the Philippine conditions and to the needs and aspirations of the Filipino people. Along with the policy that teacher education be of the highest quality, the Civil Service Commission and the Department of Education and Culture jointly give examination for teachers. The Constitution provides that all educational institutions shall be under the supervision of and subject to the regulation by the state, and requires that the state shall establish and maintain a complete, adequate, and integrated system of education relevant to the goals of national development. In Section 1, titled, "This decree shall be known as the Decree Professionalizing Teaching." Section 2, Declaration of Policy. It is hereby declared a policy that teacher education shall be given primary concern and attention by the government, and shall be of the highest quality and strongly oriented to Philippine conditions and to the needs of aspirations of the Filipino people, even as it seeks enrichment from adaptable ideas and practices of other people. Section 3, Definition of Terms. As used in this decree, the following shall be construed as follows. A. Teaching refers to the profession primarily concerned with the classroom instruction at the elementary and secondary levels, in accordance with the curriculum prescribed by the National Board of Education, whether on part-time or full-time basis in public or private schools. Section 4, Creation of the National Board for Teachers. There is hereby created by the National Board for Teachers, hereinafter called the Board, to be composed of the following. Section 5, Powers and Duties. The boards shall have the following powers and duties. A. Appoint a set of examiners for every examination who will determine and prepare the contents of the board examination for teachers, hereinafter referred to as examination, in the elementary and secondary levels of instruction, to be held at least once a year. Section 6, Qualification Requirements for Examination Applicants. No applicants shall be admitted to take examination unless, on the date of filing of the application, he shall have complied with the following requirements. A. Except those who have been engaged in teaching as herein defined for at least 5 years in schools in the Philippines, not organized exclusively for nationals of a foreign country at the time of the effective of this decree. The applicant must be a citizen of the Philippines. B. That he is a good moral character. C. That he is free from any physical or mental defect which incapacite him to render efficient service. And D. That he possessed the following minimum educational qualifications. Section 8, Scope of the Examination. The examination shall consist of written test, the scope of which shall be determined by the board, taking into consideration the teaching plan of the schools legally constituted in the Philippines. Section 9. Ratings in the examination. In order that a candidate may be deemed to have successfully passed the examinations, he must have obtained a general average at least 70% in all subjects, with no rating below 50% in any subject. Section 10. Report of the results of examination. The examiners shall report the ratings obtained by each candidate to the board within 150 days after the last day of the examination, at least extended by the latter. Section 11. Issuance of certificates. Teachers who have passed examinations given by the Civil Service Commission or jointly by the Civil Service Commission and the Department of Education and Culture shall be considered as having the passed board examiners for teachers. The board may be considered their certificates as rating as certificates of eligibility or issue an entirely new certificate upon registration of the teacher and payment of the corresponding fees. This provision shall be likewise applied to those teachers who have permanent appointment under the Magna Carta for public school teachers and all others who may be qualified for registration as professional teachers under this decree. Section 12. Registration. The Civil Service Commission shall, as an arm of the board, register holders of professional teacher certificate, which registration shall evidence that the registrant is entitled to all the rights and privileges of a professional teacher until and unless the certificate is suspended or cancelled by the board for just cause. Section 13. Issuance of revoked certificates and replacement of lost certificates. The board may, for reason and equity of justice, and upon proper application, therefore, issue another copy, original or duplicate, upon payment the required fee, of a certificate which has been revoked. A new certificate to replace a lost, destroyed, or mutilated certificate may be issued subject to the rules of the board. Section 14. Registration by reciprocity. The Civil Service Commission shall, upon approval of the board, effect the registration without examination of a teacher validly registered under the laws of any foreign state or country, provided that the requirements for registration in said foreign state or country are substantially the same as those required and competently by this decree, and the laws of such foreign state or country allow citizens of the Philippines to practice the profession on the same basis and grant the same privileges as the citizens or subjects of such foreign state or country. Section 15. Prohibition. 3 years after the activity of this decree, no person shall engage in teaching and act as a teacher as defined in this decree, whether in public or private elementary or secondary school, unless he is holder of a professional teacher certificate or considered a professional teacher under this decree. Section 16. Penal provision. Any person who shall practice the teaching without a valid professional teacher certificate, or any person representing as his or her own the certificate of another, or any person giving any false or forged evidence in order to obtain a professional teacher certificate or admission to one examination, or any person assuming himself as a registered professional teacher, or any person violating any provision of this decree, shall be penalized by a fine of not less than 1,000 pesos or more than 5,000 pesos, with subsidiary imprisonment or temporary imprisonment. or not at least than 6 months, nor more than 2 years, or both such fine imprisonment of the discretion of the court. Section 17. Repealing clause. All acts, decrees, executive orders, administrative orders, rules and regulations, or parts of theories inconsistent with the provisions of the decree are hereby repealed or modified accordingly. Section 18. Separability clause. In case any provision of this decree or any portion thereof is declared unconstitutional by a competent court, other provisions shall not be affected thereby. And last, Section 19. Effectivity. This decree shall take effect January 1, 1977.